Hello, my friends. Let's do some yoga. So to begin, just find a comfortable position on the floor. You can sit cross-legged or you can kneel. And once you've decided which shape you're going to start in, go ahead and let your hands rest on your lap, on your thighs, and then just allow your eyes to gently close. So with those eyes gently closed, tuning out your surroundings as you start to tune into your breath. Without changing it, you're just starting to notice the breath here at the beginning. Not worrying about anything else, but the rhythm and the flow of that breath. Noticing the way that it naturally enters and leaves your body. If you find that you are breathing through your mouth, see if you can gently close the lips and draw that breath in through the nose. If you're congested or for whatever reason it's not possible to breathe through the nose, then go ahead and breathe through your mouth. Noticing the rhythm of that breath and even where it goes once it enters your body. Most of us tend to breathe pretty superficially, so it might not feel like it gets much past the chest. Breathe into that chest space, and as you do so, start to open and expand the chest. So as you breathe into the lungs, into the chest space first, broaden across the chest, feeling that breath as it moves into the body and then sideways from shoulder to shoulder. Doing that, you'll start to roll the shoulders back to get that opening in the chest. And then on your next breath, see if you can pull it deeper into the body. So pulling into the chest and past the chest into your rib space. And as you do so, start to feel the ribs lift and open, almost as though you're breathing space in between each rib. Once you've started to feel that lift and that expansion, you're going to take the breath deeper into the belly. So breathing down towards your belly button. Start to feel the belly open and expand. With each inhale, you're creating more space in the body. So as you breathe down towards the belly, you might also take that breath towards the back, towards your spine. Maybe even envisioning and picturing in your mind that you're pulling that breath along the spine. And as you do so, you're creating space between each vertebrae. So on your next inhale, lifting from the crown of your head, reaching and extending towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, let your sit bones settle towards the heels or onto the ground. Inhale again, lifting and lengthening from the crown of the head all the way to the sky, broadening across the chest. And then as you exhale, maintain that space and settle into it, letting the hips get heavier. With that settling, maybe the shoulders come more over the hips. Inhale, lift and open. And exhale, soften and settle. So even though your body is not really moving, there's movement happening inside of you. And that movement is visible outside of you. Deep, full inhale all the way down. And full exhale out, push it out the nose. Good. Try to keep your chin parallel to the floor. Inhale through the nose all the way down to the ground. And exhale, push it out the nose. Settling into space. One more time, deep inhale in, lifting from the top of the head. Then exhale, softening into the ground. On your next inhale, gently open the eyes and circle sweet hands up towards the sky, reaching and extending. Try not to pop your ribs forward here. A little wiggle in the fingertips as you reach your gaze up towards those fingertips. Reach and extend through the side body. So breathing deeply here into the side body. You're going to twist over to the right. So right arm goes back, left arm comes forward. Maybe that left hand rests on your thighs here, or maybe it goes to the outside of that right knee. Try to keep that opening across the chest. So deep inhale here. And exhale, take your gaze past that back shoulder. So nice and broad across the chest. Pull the belly button towards the spine. Maintain length in the back, especially the low back here. And continue to breathe. So that breath is moving in and out of the body. Same thing, as you inhale, you're creating space. And as you exhale, softening into that. On your next inhale, come back up through center. Deep inhale in. Good, and exhale over to the other side. So twisting at the waist here, you're rotating from the waist and then spreading across the chest. So gaze goes past that back shoulder here. Don't force it. Don't crank your neck. Just gently take it past that back shoulder. Keeping the shoulders away from the ears so they slide down the back. Good, soften. So don't be forceful with your body. Inhale, come back to center. And exhale, you're going to make your way onto your hands and knees. I'm going to turn towards the front of my mat. If you are already facing the front of the mat, you're just going to come onto hands and knees facing the front of your mat. Bringing your wrists below your shoulders. Your thumbs are mostly in line with the inner edges of your shoulders here, the inner edges of your armpits, and then pressing into the tops of your feet here. Spread your toes a little bit. See if you can wiggle them. Good. And then pull the low belly up and in and soften the chest. So it's like you're drawing your chest forward a little bit, but the crown of the head is long. We're not in cow pose, we're in tabletop. Crown of the head reaches forward, tailbone extends back, core is engaged. So pulling navel towards the spine and then pull up through the pelvic floor. So pulling the pelvic floor in towards the belly button here. Spine is supported, core is strong. And then pressing into the hands, feel your back start to engage. From here, we're going to soften into cow pose. So let the belly release, softening in the shoulders, and pull your chest forward as you lift your gaze. Deep inhale in here as you open the chest. Exhale into cat pose. So pulling the belly in, rounding through the spine, pushing the floor away, chin to chest. Really rounding through that upper back here. Feel the shoulder blades spread away from the spine and pull the navel in as well as the pelvic floor up. Inhale, soften the belly, lift the chest, soften in those elbow joints a little bit here. Press into the tops of the feet. And exhale, round up into cat pose. Push the air out your nose. Inhale, lift and open. And exhale, pull in and compress. One more time. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Coming back to tabletop on the inhale. Nice and long spine. Set back into child's pose. Sit bones towards the heels. You're going to spider walk your fingertips forward. Chest comes to legs, forehead to the ground. And let the armpits settle towards the ground. So let those armpits become heavy here. Chin is gently in towards the chest. It's not a big tuck of the chin. It's just rolling forward a little bit to the crown of your head to get more length through the neck. Deep inhale in here as tailbone presses back. Fingertips reach forward. And then exhale, let it all settle to the ground. Good. Rounding up into cat pose, so weight goes into the hands. Round up through the spine. Keep the hands planted so it's a little bit more wide than it was before. And then soften into that cow pose. Lift the gaze, lift the chest, and sit back into child's pose. Exhale into your cat pose. Inhale into cow. Exhale, child's pose. Breathe it all out. Inhale, pulling up into that tabletop position. And then exhale into cat pose. Inhale, cow pose. And exhale, tabletop. Last time. Inhale, rising up. Exhale as you push the air out. Inhale, cow pose. And exhale, this time you're coming to crouching tiger. Tuck the toes, plant the hands, lift your knees up off the ground. So really grip through the fingertips here, and then start to lift your hips a little bit. Thighs are in towards the chest, spine is long, so crown of the head is reaching forward here. There's weight in the heels. You're gonna shift forward into a hovering tabletop, also called angry bear. So knees drop to about an inch up off the ground. You'll really feel your core engage. Pull the belly button towards the spine. And then from here, exhale, downward facing dog. Shift your hips back, heels towards the ground, arms are straight. And you're pressing your chest towards your legs. Your knees can still be bent here. They can be bent a lot if you need to. We're setting up our downward facing dog. So pressing into the hands, push the floor away. Feel that connection through the heel of the hand as well as the ball of the hand here. And then as you press into the ground, grip into your fingertips. From here, you're lifting up out of your arms. So draw up toward your armpits and then take your sit bones to the sky. Belly is in, ribs are in. Coming up high onto the balls of the feet like you're stacking your heels over the balls of your feet. You're going to take your gaze forward and tiptoe the feet up towards the hands. So that right big toe comes right behind the right thumb, left big toe behind the left thumb, and then hang heavy into ragdoll. So bending the knees, let your chest drop, maybe chest even rests on the legs, and take hold of opposite elbows here. Let the upper body be heavy. Good, just keep breathing. So in through the nose and out through the nose. You can gently shift from one foot to the other or sway from side to side. Just let gravity pull your head and your shoulders, your arms towards the ground. So you're really releasing the neck and the shoulders here. Then coming to center, release the hands. You can bring them down to the ground, onto blocks or to the wall for support. Slowly roll up through the spine. So press down through the heels first, find that connection through the feet, press across the ball of the foot, and then roll up through the spine. One vertebrae at a time. Try to keep that pelvic floor up and in as you start to stack your joints. So you're taking your knees over your ankles, hips over the knees, shoulders over the hips. Rolling the shoulders back here. You can take a couple of shoulder rolls if that feels good. You can even take a couple of shoulder rolls forward. Trying to loosen up the shoulder joint. Press your fingertips towards the ground and turn the palms forward. Maybe wiggle your toes a little bit so you feel that connection through the heels and the balls of the feet. On the inhale, circle sweep hands up to the sky. And exhale, hands to heart center. Pausing here for just a moment to set your intention for class. You've arrived. So pressing down through the feet and feeling your connection to the floor. Pull up through the pelvic floor into the chest to the crown of the head and let the shoulders release. Deep inhale in and exhale out. The intention that I have chosen for today, which you're welcome to join me in, is to be where you are. Be where you are because you're already there. You've arrived on your mat, in your breath, and in this class. So breathe into it and release into it as you exhale. Inhale, circle, sweep hands up to the sky. And exhale, forward fold. Feeling your feet on the ground, the connection to the floor, and allowing yourself to be right in this space. Let the head release. On the inhale, hands come up above the knees to your thighs here. Nice and strong posture as you press into the thighs, lengthen out. So that will automatically help you to pull up through the belly to engage and to lengthen the spine. So pressing through the heels, you're trying to keep your hips over your ankles. And exhale, fold. Good. Inhale, all the way up. And exhale, fold. Again, inhale, lift to lengthen halfway, hands to thighs. And exhale, plant your hands. Step the right foot back, big step back as far as you can here. Hands come to frame that front foot. You want to make sure that front knee is over the ankle here, nice and square, and then hug the hips in towards center line. Engage those inner thighs. So like you're pulling the inner thighs towards each other, but your feet are rooted so they can't move. Inhale, crown of the head lengthens forward. And exhale, lower right knee to the ground. From here, hands come to that left thigh right above the knee. And press into it and away. So you're broadening across the shoulders here, getting a stretch through that right quad and hip flexor. Strong and stable through the feet. Inhale, lift the chest, lift out of the hips, and take your hands overhead. Exhale, sink into the hips here. Inhale, lift from the crown of the head. Then exhale, soften the shoulders down the spine. One more breath here. Inhale, lift the heart, lift your gaze. And exhale, hands come down to frame the front foot. Pick up the back knee and step that left foot back to meet the right in a plank position. Shoulders come over the fingertips here, so you're shifting forward onto your toes. Pull the low belly up and in, and then rotate, squeezing the armpits in towards the body. On the exhale, lower knees, chest, chin to the ground, side onto the belly. And inhale, cobra, pressing into the tops of the feet, shoulder blades towards the spine and elbows in towards the body. Exhale, lower the chest, tuck the toes. You're going to come through that crouching tiger position. So sit bones go back, and then hips lift high to downward facing dog, chest towards your shins, gaze towards your thighs. Deep inhale in, engage through the ankles here, squeezing the ankles towards each other without moving your feet. Gaze comes forward, right foot steps up to meet the hands. So you can walk it there if you need to, or it's a big step in between the hands here. Lengthen out through the spine. Right knee is over the ankle. Squeeze and hug those hips in towards center line, and then draw the inner thighs towards each other without moving your feet. Deep inhale for length. And exhale, lowered left knee to the ground here. Making your way up, hands come to that right quad. Finding stability here as you lift up from the crown of the head, feeling that stretch move into the quad and the hip flexor. Inhale, wrist stack over the shoulders. Gaze stays forward. Inhale, lift up through the crown of the head. And exhale, settle into the hips. Inhale, space into the low back. And exhale, shoulder blades slide down the spine. One more deep inhale here as you lengthen, lifting up from the heart. And exhale, hands come down to frame the front foot. Pick up the back knee here and step the right foot back to meet the left. Find that plank position. So drawing forward onto the toes, shoulders shift over the fingertips, pull the low belly in, and squeeze the armpits back to open that chest. Good. Exhale, lower knees, chest, chin. Coming to the ground, elbows brush against the ribs here. On inhale, cobra, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, lower the chest, tuck the toes. Downward facing dog. Gaze comes forward. You're going to step the left foot up in between the hands, followed by the right foot into fold. Let the head be heavy. Press down through the heels and squeeze the ankles towards each other. Inhale, little bend in the knees as you circle sweep, hands up to extended mountain. And exhale, hands to heart center. Good. Inhale up. And exhale, fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, plant the hands and step the right foot back. Lowering the knee to the ground. Inhale, rise, low crescent. Exhale, hands come to frame the front foot. Step the left foot back to meet the right, shifting forward. Option to now take chaturanga or stick with knees, chest, chin. For chaturanga, you're lowering halfway. Good, squeezing the elbows in, pull up through the low belly. Option for up dog, rolling onto the tops of the feet, push the floor away. Shoulders stay away from your ears here. You're engaged as you lengthen and lift the hips. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Gaze comes forward, right foot walks or steps up in between the hands. Lowering the left knee to the ground. Inhale, rise, high crescent. Good. Exhale, hands come down to frame the front foot. Pick up that back knee. Step the right foot to meet the left, shifting forward, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Keep that low belly in. Inhale, cobra or up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Gaze comes forward. Step, hop, or jump your feet to your hands. And release, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. Fingertips brush the ground as you bend the knees, sinking sit bones down. Pull up through the low belly and let your hands float to the sky. Ribs stay engaged here. Shoulders soften down the back. Deep inhale as you lengthen through the fingertips. Exhale, pull the belly in, sit bones sink to the ground. Keeping those fingertips reaching to the sky, we'll come into airplane chair. So crown of the head gets long, tabletop spine as sit bones go back, squeeze and engage those ankles towards each other, inner thighs, fingertips reach away from the shoulders. Option for drinking bird to come onto the balls of the feet. You can stay here in this balance, pulling the belly away from the legs, or maybe you take it into an arm balance. Hands come to the ground for crow. Stepping the feet behind the wrists, elbows bent, knees come to the elbows, so they come to the triceps just above the elbows here. The more deeply your knees bend, the more solid a platform you create. It flattens out the knee so it can balance more easily. Lowering the feet back down to the ground. Inhale back to chair pose. From here, coming through that airplane chair, you'll step the right foot back. So arm sweep back, right foot steps back so that you're now in airplane lunge. Pressing the right heel away. Check that front knee so that knee is over the ankle here. It's still that nice long tabletop back. Belly pulls away from the thigh so that low belly is in. Hug the hips in towards center and then lengthen crown of the head away from the tailbone here. On the inhale, rise, high crescent. Fingertips float to the sky, legs are strong. Drawing that right hip forward here, we'll take a twist. Left arm reaches back, right arm stays forward, rotating from the waist, just like we did in the very beginning as we were seated. So shoulder tips broaden away from each other here, fingertips extend away from each other. The chest is very open. Press through that right heel. So you're pushing that right heel away from the body, but you're keeping both hip points forward here. So you've got to energetically pull the inner thighs toward each other. Good. On the inhale, reaching back to that high crescent. Right foot steps forward, back to airplane chair. Fingertips reach away. Good. And inhale, rise, extended mountain. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, up. And exhale, fold. Let the head release. Take any tension out of the shoulders or the neck that you've created. And then on your next inhale, coming back into that chair pose, fingertips brush the ground, sit bones sink, gaze comes up. Sink those sit bones down, pull the ribs in, belly button towards spine, and pelvic floor draws upwards, engaging Mula Bandha here. Strong in those legs. Deep breathing. Shoulders soften. On the exhale, airplane chair or drinking bird, your choice. Working through the balance here, length or strength. Option for that crow pose. From here, knees come to elbows, weight shifts forward, gaze is out in front of you, grip into the fingertips, and bend those knees to create that platform. Coming back down. And inhale, chair pose. This time, left foot steps back on the exhale. Airplane lunge. Check your stance, adjust however you need to. Press that left heel away as hips pull forward and spine gets long. Shoulders away from the ears. On the inhale, rise. Fingertips float to the sky. Good. Inhale for length. And exhale, open. Right arm reaches back, left comes forward. Rotation happens from the waist. You're opening across the chest here as fingertips draw away from each other. Shoulders are soft. Gaze can go past that back shoulder towards the thumb. And if you fall, that's okay. It's part of the process. Be where you are and come back to where you need to be. Inhale up. Good. And exhale, step into that airplane chair. Inhale, rise, mountain pose. And exhale, fold. Beautiful. On the inhale, rising to high mountain. Inhale, circle, sweep hands to the sky. You're going to lift right leg into staff pose, standing staff. Knee extends from the hip here. As the leg lifts, press firmly down into that left foot. So as you drive down through that left foot, you find stability here. Draw that right ankle underneath you. Good. We're coming into airplane warrior this time. You can take a gentle bend in that left knee. As you start to extend the right leg behind you, gaze comes to the ground. And press through the sole of that back foot, nice and long, shoulders away from the ears. Good, keep those hips squared. Deep bend in that front leg to lower right foot to the ground. And inhale, rise, high crescent. Opening into warrior two. Drop that back heel to the ground, turning the toes out and slicing your arms to a T. So here, setting up the structure and the alignment, make sure that that front knee is over the ankle. So if you need to walk that foot forward or slide that right foot back, make sure you do that. From here, your shoulders are directly over your hips. Stacking the shoulders, drawing the belly in. Sorry, my back is to you, but here you can see what that looks like in the backs of the shoulders as the chest opens. Shoulder blades come towards the spine, strong in the legs. So as you press down through the feet, pull up into the hips. On the inhale, reverse triangle. So straighten the front leg. Left hand comes to the sky, right hand to that back hamstring. Shoulders stay over the hips. So that left shoulder should stack over the left hip. As you glance back, you want to make sure right shoulder is over the hip. I have the tendency to throw my shoulder back. I really have to watch that. So be aware of the placement of your shoulders. Triangle pose, left arm reaches forward, keep those hips right where they are. If you're using a block, hand comes down to a block or it comes in front of the calf. This right arm reaches to the sky. Open the chest here, deep inhale in. Good, exhale out. One more breath here. Coming back to warrior two, bend that front knee. Reverse your warrior, inhale. And then exhale, hands come down to frame that front foot. You're gonna pick up the back heel so that you can come into a low lunge position. Standing split, so weight comes into the hands, weight is in that left foot. Try to keep that left shoulder connected to the left knee. I know that could be difficult. If you need to keep the leg bent, you can keep it bent as you pick up that right leg. So you're sending the toes behind you, trying to keep your hips squared. So draw those inner thighs towards each other and then slowly lift and extend the right toes to the sky. Try to do that without popping the leg open. So keep those hips squared here, reach and extend. Stretching that left hamstring as you open the right quad. Reaching through the toes. You can point those toes if you'd like to. Try to keep the neck long. One more breath here. Deep inhale. We'll exhale as you bring that right foot to meet the left in forward fold. Let the head be heavy. Feel your connection to the ground.
Nice, sure footing here. You know where you are in time and space. Be there. Draw your mind to center here and to the breath. Inhale, rise. High mountain pose, circle sweep, hands to the sky. Keeping those fingertips reaching up, press down through the right foot and start to pick up the left. So as that left leg lifts, pulling the leg into the hip socket, pressing down through the right foot, feeling your connection to the ground. Left ankle is underneath the knee here. Shoulders are soft. Good. Warrior 3, bending that front leg, starting to take the left leg behind you as you bend into the right. Press through the left foot here, keeping those hips squared. You can hold on to them if you need to, or you extend the arms behind you. Press through the sole of that left foot. Deepen the bend in the right as you tap down the right toes with control and float your hands to the sky. Nice and easy, right? Find that balance of engagement, connection, and ease. Shoulders are soft. Take the tension out of them. On your next exhale, opening to warrior 2, arms slice to a T as you drop that back heel. Find your alignment. So front knee is over the ankle here, pressing firmly into that back foot, across the ball of the foot and into the heel. Check your arms. They're in line with the shoulders. Strong legs, strong mind, strong heart. On the inhale, coming to reverse triangle. So straightening the front knee as you reach right arm to the sky. Left arm drops behind you. Once again, finding the alignment of the shoulders. Take that glance back. You shouldn't be able to see your left hip because your shoulder's right over it. Inhale, gazing up towards the top thumb here, and then preparing for triangle, space in the ribs, hips stay where they are, and then shifting forward. Right hand comes down in front of the right leg as left arm floats to the sky. So you don't want to throw your arm back. You want to keep the shoulders stacked here. You're opening through the chest. So once again, that sensation of the shoulders moving away from each other, moving away from the chest. The crown of the head reaches and extends forward so the spine is nice and long. Open through the chest here. Press down through your heels and pull up into your hips. Deep breathing. One more breath here. And then back to warrior 2. On your exhale, bend that front knee. Slow and controlled. Good. Inhale, reverse warrior. Right arm reaches to the sky. And then preparing to come into that low lunge. Hands are going to cartwheel down. Shifting your gaze forward as you come onto the ball of that back foot. Hands frame the front foot. Find your connection through foot and hands. Shoulder to knee. Pick up that back foot. Squeeze the inner thighs towards center. Let the head drop so your forehead is towards your shin. Look back towards those back toes and then extend through them. Reaching and extending. Good. Option to point the toes as you lift them to the sky, but try not to pop open that hip so the hips stay squared here to increase the stretch in the hamstring as well as that back quad. One more breath, deep inhale. And exhale, left foot comes to meet the right. Release, head to ground. And inhale, rise. Circle sweep, hands to the sky. And exhale, hands to heart center. Taking just a moment here to come back to your breath, to recenter, and to be right where you are. Let it feel good. The connection of your feet to the ground, the stability in your legs. Maybe a little tiny micro bend in the knees here to really feel the engagement and the strength of those legs as you pull up through the pelvic floor, up into your heart. Let your shoulders release. Be where you are because you're already there. It's such a relief to arrive. After all the hurry and the preparation and the flurry. Finding stillness to be right where you are. Opening your eyes, preparing for a balance. So for the balance, press down through the left foot and come onto the ball of the right foot. So again, driving down into that left leg. Feel connection to the floor. And then from here, keeping your hands to heart center, you're going to pick up that right leg. Nice, steady, strong gaze. So make sure you have picked a spot that's not going to move, and then don't let your eyes move from that spot. Good. Option to stay right here in this staff pose with hands to heart center, or to come into dancer. So for dancer, the knees come together, that right heel comes towards the glute. Option to stay right here. Drawing in through the belly to support the low back. Left hand is placed over the heart as you drop the right hand to your side, palm outwards. Reach back and see if you can take hold of the inside of that right foot. Option to stay right here. Or perhaps you can reach and extend that left arm out in front of you. Palm up or down. It doesn't really matter. Either way is fine. And then from here, press the foot into the hand. You press the foot into the hand, make sure the inner thighs stay engaged so that that right knee stays down. The more you press the foot into the hand, the more that shoulder is going to open. Try to keep your chest forward here. Continuing to breathe. Keep that gaze steady and strong. One more breath here. Knees come back together. Hands back to heart. And lower the foot to the ground. Beautiful. Wiggle the feet a little bit. If you need to take some little ankle circles, go ahead and do that. And then we'll take it on the other side. So from here, pressing down through the right foot. Really feel that connection through all parts of the foot. Both sides of the ball of the foot, the big toe mound, the pinky toe mound, and down through the heel. Rising onto the ball of the left foot. Don't let the hip pop up. So you're keeping those hips nice and level. With your gaze steady and strong, pick up that left leg to staff pose, making sure that the hips stay level here. So you're not canting, steady, stable, and strong. From here, option to stay. This can be your balance today. Or bring the knees together. Drawing that left heel towards the glute. Inner thighs are engaged. Tendency then is going to be for the ribs to pop open. Try to keep those ribs wrapping into center line. Right hand comes to the heart. Left hand drops to the side with the palm out, thumb back. Reaching back to take hold of the inside of the left foot. Option to stay here. It's a great quad stretch. Challenging to be on one leg. Option to reach and extend, right arm forward. Perhaps palm is up or down. You choose. And then pressing the left foot into the left hand. Keep those inner thighs engaged. Knee towards the ground so that there's no twisting or torquing in the knee. The more you press foot into hand, the more the shoulder opens as well as the hips. Good, keeping those inner thighs engaged. Keep breathing. Gaze is steady and strong. Connection of foot to floor. One more breath here. And then coming back to center. Good. Remember, it's always okay to wobble, and it's totally fine to fall. If you do, take a moment to connect with your surroundings, and then find the stability through your feet and your connection to the ground. Good. Inhale up. And exhale, forward fold. This should feel really good on those legs after standing and balancing on one or the other. From here, you're going to step the left foot back and then drop the heel. So you're in a pyramid fold. Now this one, it's handy to have some kind of support, a chair that you can hold on in front of you, or blocks, or whatever you have available. You want both legs to be straight here, and you really trying to level off the low back as much as possible. So squeeze those inner thighs towards each other, press the tailbone back, tabletop spine. So draw those armpits in towards the body. Good. So there's no strain in the upper back. And then start to let your chest melt. Chin towards chest, crown of the head towards your foot. This is a pretty intense pose. It's one of my favorites. It's one of the best stretches for the hips, the low back, the legs. Good. And then from here, you're going to turn all 10 toes forward, well, to the side of your mat. So it depends on which way you're orienting yourself. And then try to bring your hips directly in line with your heels. Again, absolutely fine and generally preferable to use something to hold on to. If it's difficult to reach the ground, use a piece of furniture or blocks. I wish I had some right now, but it's okay. If you need to, you can also bend the knees. If you don't have any props, you can take that little bend in the knees. On the exhale, let your chest get heavier towards the ground. Now, if you do have blood pressure issues, you want to be careful that your head is not dropping below your heart for very long. So in that case, again, you can use pillows, stacked pillows to rest your head on, or you stay in that position where your head is slightly above your heart. Otherwise, you're letting that head drop. There are huge benefits to getting your head below your heart. Letting oxygen rush to the brain here, super beneficial to helping flush out stagnant thought. Clearing the way for fresh, new perspectives. Inhale, draw up into the sit bones. Exhale, let the shoulders soften as the head is heavy. Again, inhale up along the backs of the legs, and exhale, let the head drop. From here, you're going to walk your hands back to take that pyramid shape on the left side. So walking hands towards the left foot, toes turn towards that left side of your mat. So the right back toes are turned slightly out. The left toes are turned forward here. Again, if you need props, that can actually help you to get more length out of the spine and through the legs. So once you're there, tabletop spine as much as possible, tailbone back, crown of the head extended, spine is long, soften the shoulders, squeeze those armpits in towards the body, and then let the head release towards the leg. Deep inhale up into the hips, exhale, let the chest get heavy. Inhale, lengthen the spine, exhale, release into it. One more breath here. And then you're going to walk your hands back to that Prasarita position, a wide-legged forward fold. From here, you're going to turn your heels in, so pressing into the hands. We're going to come into a low squat. So you can bring your heels closer together. You can keep them wider apart. It's up to you. This is super good for the low back. So elbows pressing into the knees here, a little shift from side to side. Inhale, length. Exhale, let your shoulders soften. Now you're going to turn your fingertips, actually press your fingertips into each other, and then you're just going to turn your hands so that the backs of your hands are pressing against each other, so the fingertips are turned down. Palms are out. Just stretching the wrists a little bit this way. Good. Inhale into the chest space, and exhale out. Good. You're going to turn the fingertips up, turn the palms together, point the fingertips down, backs of the hands together. Taking that a few times, just rotations through the wrists, and then we're going to switch direction. So up and in towards the body, up and in towards the body, down. Good. Good. Hands to heart. Sit down on your bum and bring the soles of your feet together. So you're now in cobbler's pose. In yin yoga, it's known as butterfly pose. Your thumbs are to the center of your arches here. Spine is long. Draw the belly in. A lot of length through that low back. Shoulders are soft. Deep inhale in. And exhale. Let your elbows come to your inner knees, inner thighs. And then draw the chin towards the chest here as you lengthen out through the spine. So deep inhale, crown of the head reaches forward. Exhale, let the chest get heavy. Try to keep your shoulders out of your ears. Inhale, length through the spine. Exhale, chest drops. Perhaps you're starting to feel a stretch in those outer hips, glutes, thighs. Deep inhale in, and exhale, soften. Now from here, you want that sensation of being punched in the gut, where you really pull your belly button in. It's that whoop kind of feeling. And then let your head drop. So your chin towards your chest, really rounded through the spine. Let your head drop and feel your shoulder blades separate away from the spine here as the head gets heavier. Maybe the head comes close to the feet. Maybe it even drops to the ground. Maybe it doesn't get anywhere close, but try to keep that belly in, stretching the low back as well as the upper back here in this pose. One more breath. Good. And then inhale, lengthen out. So crown of the head reaches forward. The spine's getting long again as you lift, lift, lift up towards the sky. Extend your right leg towards the front of your mat here. And then you're going to pull that left foot into the inner thigh, coming into Janu Sirsasana, but at a diagonal. So you're towards the front corner of your mat here. Pressing the foot into the inner thigh, so really feeling that engagement. And then that right foot is flexed like you're standing on it. So pull the pinky toe in towards the body and push the big toe away. That will actually help to square your hips, especially as you press the left foot into the right inner thigh. So from here, holding on to the upper thigh, draw the belly and the ribs in so that the shoulders are stacked over the hips and the low back is long. Start to walk your hands down that leg, keeping the low belly and the ribs engaged here. Nose towards toes, hands towards ankle. Maybe they don't get anywhere close, and that's okay. If you are here and you are feeling that lengthening and that stretch in the spine and in the leg, you're doing it right. You don't want to round here. You don't want to sacrifice the integrity of your spine just to get your chest closer to your legs. Inhale, lift and open. And exhale, soften. So keeping those ribs engaged, keeping the low back supported, pressing down through the heel here. Inhale, nose towards toe, chin towards shin. Inhale, length. Exhale, heart is heavy, chest gets closer. Inhale, lengthen, nose to toe, chin to shin, chest to leg. One more time. Inhale, soften. And then just breathe into this position, into this space right where you're at, not forcing, not pushing, and certainly not pulling on the leg. Let the body go where it feels something, but not pain. Discomfort is fine. You have to get uncomfortable in order to grow and develop and progress. Sometimes being where you are is so uncomfortable because it's not where you want to be. But you can't move forward until you know where you're at. Inhale, coming up. We all know what it's like to be lost. Deep inhale here, and then extend the left leg out in front of you. Press the right foot into the right inner thigh. And being lost is not a fun feeling. Draw the belly in, draw the ribs in, shoulders over the hips. Inhale, lengthen the low back, opening across the chest here. Flexing the foot, so pull the pinky toe towards you and push the big toe away as you press the right sole of the foot into the leg. Deep inhale in, lift and lengthening. And then exhale, starting to walk your way down your leg. Sometimes the only way to find your way or to move out of being lost is with a little bit of help. So you can also use, if you have a belt or a towel or anything that you can wrap around the foot, that's also an option to give you a little more length to keep that integrity of the spine. I tend to push into my back. I really have to focus and think about where my body is and where I'm feeling pain. So yoga is great for helping you to recognize and acknowledge the difference between pain and discomfort. They're not the same. Pain is a warning. It's something you need to listen to. You should listen to discomfort too, because it's a guide. Deep inhale in. Good. Nose towards toe, chin towards shin. When we take a moment to pause, to ground ourselves and to look around when we're lost, it can help us to see markers or identify things that can help us to get where we need to be. Inhale, nose to toe, chin to shin. Breathing deeply and fully. That's why the pause is so important. One more breath. Breathing into wherever you're feeling the sensation the most. See if you can open up that space or release a little bit. And then coming out of it, lift that right knee to the sky so the sole of the foot comes to the ground. Bring the left foot in to meet it, and then position yourself so that you're straight on your mat, scooting forward a little bit. We'll roll on to our backs. So you can hold on to your knees or your inner thighs to do this, or you don't have to. But really rounding through the spine, you're gonna roll down one vertebrae at a time until you're fully on the floor. Pressing your shoulder blades onto the mat, press your low back down and in. So try to feel your full vertebrae connected to the ground. And then from here, pick up your legs to come into waterfall. Flexing the feet. You want those leg bones to drop right into the hips. So pressing into the low back and pulling the legs into the hip sockets, and then just allow them to release. Good. The blood flow cascading from your feet all the way down to your hips, taking the pressure off the legs, out of the feet, and just giving that a little break, a little release. Hands can come onto your belly, or they can also rest along your sides. Now, if you prefer, you can take a plow pose, where the toes start to come overhead. Hips may start to lift, weight going into the shoulders. Never look around in this pose where more pressure comes into the neck. So you want to keep your head steady and stable. Toes may extend all the way overhead. If that's the case, you can take hold of your mat, the outer edges of your mat with your hands for a little bit of traction and stability. And then lift up the hips, so sit bones to the sky. As you start to stack those hips right over the shoulders, you can wiggle the shoulders away from you, pressing into the balls of the feet, feeling that lengthening through the legs. Good, the hips and the low back releases here. So you find that length, taking the weight out of the hips as they extend towards the sky. If shoulder stand is part of your practice and you want to take it now, then hands can come to the low back. You want to be very careful in this pose that you're not putting pressure into the neck. So with shoulder stand, you're trying to stack your hips over your shoulders, keeping the chin towards the chest, squeezing ankles together, inner thighs together, and then extending through your toes, keeping a spread through the toes here. And just like waterfall, you're allowing the blood to drain from the legs towards the hips and here towards the shoulders. Everything flowing towards the heart. This is also a good pose for fleshing out the thyroid. Now to come out of this pose, you're going to start to shift the toes overhead as you roll back down carefully onto your spine. Coming all the way back through waterfall pose. From waterfall pose, bending the knees, taking hold of those knees, draw the knees towards the armpits to a happy baby position. Press the low back down. Good. You can stay right here holding on to the knees, or you have the option of reaching under and taking hold of your hamstrings under the knees, or even reaching for the outer edges of your feet or big toes with your peace fingers, but trying to keep those knees in towards the armpits here. And then gently rocking from side to side. Feels like a good massage on the low back and the shoulders here. Come back to your breath if you lost it. And then we'll take a spinal twist. So coming back to center, knees are together here. Cactusing the arms with the palms upwards. Let the knees fall over to the left as you take your gaze gently over to the right. So again, not twisting or torquing. If you need to place a pillow or something underneath that left knee so that you're not twisting so far, then do that. But you want to release into this pose, so shifting so that both shoulder blades are on the ground, and then just let the body be heavy here. Staying here for about 3 to 5 breaths, so breathing deeply and completely. Breathe down into the low back, along that right hip and outer glute. And as you exhale, let the legs get heavier. Let the shoulders get heavier. Breathing into the chest space, though, let the heart get lighter. So lifting up through the heart to keep that heart open. One more round of breath, and then on your next inhale, bring the legs back through center, and then let them drop over to the right. Your gaze goes over to the left. So again, taking any support that you need for your legs, even your head. Letting the neck release as your gaze drops over to that left hand, left elbow. With each exhale, the legs get heavier, the hips get softer, the low back releases. Breathing deeply into the low back, and then exhale, let the body be heavy. Breathing deeply into the chest space. Let the chest open, the shoulders release. 2 more rounds of breath here. Taking that breath right where you are feeling tension. And then on your next inhale, coming back through center. Lower the soles of the feet to the ground. And then let the knees fall open. So the soles of the feet touch here. As you do so, the low back will gently lift away from the ground. Shift however you need to release into that position. If that is too intense, you can always take blankets or pillows or whatever you have underneath your outer thighs to let your legs rest so that the hips don't drop open quite so much. You're going to pick up your heart to slide your shoulders underneath you, shoulders away from the ears, and then palms face upwards. They're kind of in an A shape along your sides, about 45 degrees away from your body. That will allow those shoulders to roll away from each other so the heart can be more open. And then gently closing the eyes, breathe into the chest space to lift, open, and expand. Maybe sliding the shoulders a little more under you as you exhale. Let those shoulders spread. Then breathing deeply into the belly space. So the ribs lift and open, the belly expand, and then exhale, release. Breathing into the hips here. Make your way into Shavasana. So just straightening those legs, So that right foot is towards right corner of your mat, left hip towards left corner, and then allow the legs to fall open. Staying with your breath here, breathing deeply, fully, completely. Staying with your breath. As you come to your breath, you automatically come to the moment. You can't breathe in the past and you can't breathe in the future. The breath happens now. And so whenever you need to ground yourself, if ever you're in a situation and you're not sure what to do, how to respond, or you're feeling a little lost and you just need to recenter, come to your breath. Be in the moment. Your breath will bring you right where you are, into a place of acceptance. Slowing the breath down slows down our body systems. It allows us and helps us to be more responsive rather than being reactive. Slowing down the breath allows you to come from a kinder place in your judgments of yourself and others. So right here, in this moment, in this space, be where you are. Let go of the breath and allow everything to settle. You're welcome to breathe and be right here as long as you need to. When you're ready to come out of it, doing so slowly with awareness and offering gratitude for all that is and all that you are right now in this moment. Namaste.